All right, and we're back. All right. All right, let's see if anybody comes in. I changed locations now. Patricia Leak, what's up? The internet should be better now, hopefully. Yeah, I told you I was gonna be back. Maybe that didn't get translated because of the internet being so slow. But it's probably a little bit louder. There's probably a lot more background noise. Jenny, what's up? Hello. But yeah, I'm in like a gym facility, as you can see. That's the basketball court right there. So yeah, trying to keep like some privacy from people. So I'm gonna little tilt it over this way. Actually, there we go. That should be somewhat better. People are gonna look at me weird, but I don't even care. So hump day. It's Wednesday. 2 more days, and it's Friday, and I can relax. No, I can't even relax and enjoy my weekend because I'm working on Friday, all day Friday, and then bits of Saturday, and I get to enjoy like the other half of Saturday, and then all of Sunday. I just want to go on vacation. My vacation starts soon. Going to Brazil, see my girlfriend. Leave should get approved soon. So, and then on June 3rd which is Sunday, I have my quarter life crisis because I'm turning 25. So that's exciting. But yeah, duty free work days, weekends off every time. Bradley, I don't know if this is in your ship too, but you follow that 3 and 2 schedule, right? 2 and 3, 3-2. I know sometimes it's like 12. Still young. Bradley, I was at FSA for a while, for 4 months. 4 months. Can I retake the ASVAB in the fleet to cross rate? Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm in Chief's mess. So I work Monday to Friday. Yoon, I'm fixing to be a senior next, and maybe what should I do to prepare? Let me know if is the volume like you can hear me well. So if I had to think, your senior year. Kiani, 3 things come to my mind. Number one, find your study habit, like whatever works for you, right? Figure out like a system that works for you. Like for me, using Quizlet works for me. I found that to be the most effective like study habit for me, like study pattern. So figure out what works for you, because when you're in the Navy, you're going to take a lot of advancement tests and exams. So making sure you're prepared for that helps. Number two, physically fit. Make sure you know how to swim if you don't know already. Swimming is very important, right? If you put swimming, the distance, like 50 yards or something like that, is important. And also making sure you get the most highest ASVAB score as you possibly can while you are in high school. I'm pretty sure you're able to take your ASVAB score while you're in high school, because you can join the Navy when you're 17 with parents' consent. But yeah, I don't know exactly how that thing works, but retake the ASVAB as many times as you need to while you're in high school. So by the time you get out and you are ready to join the Navy or whatever other branch, you have your ASVAB score. The higher it is, the more choices you have. Estella, my internet connection in the other one was bad, so I had to get out and redo it here. Trying to crank it. So Kiani, yeah, that's basically three things that come to my mind. Find your study habit, find your study, what works for you. Thanks. Take as many ASVAB as much possible, like to get the highest score as possible. So when you have let's say you have perfect score 99, then you have all the options, right? All the choices of the jobs you can get in the Navy. So I think that's the best thing that you can do. And I forgot my train of thought's being lost here because there's so many things going around. So I apologize if I get sidetracked a little bit. My son is in A school and he may be set back because of a Fitbit. His chief said a Fitbit should not be a problem and he might be set back. Jenny, I don't know about that. I know there's one thing. I mean, Fitbits, I don't see why it's not allowed. I've seen the articles where Fitbit, it connects to the internet, tracks your location, so it kind of gives anyone with access to Fitbit's database or some sort of Fitbits app, it shows where everybody is that's using a Fitbit. And so one of the biggest problems that I've heard was it also shows how many people are in a military base, and even the hidden military bases, it kind of shows the people in that locations. So I don't know if he got in trouble because of that, but I mean, even in my ship, people have Fitbits. So I don't see why not. Maybe for that A school, every A school has their own little set of rules. Maybe for that one in particular, they have their own little rule. So, yeah. But I don't think it's a big deal, big enough deal to set somebody back. Go to the Air Force. Hey, I'm going to boot camp on Tuesday. KD, Flathead. Any tips? Yes. Spend as much time as you can with your family now, because you're not going to be able to spend as much time with your family in the future. Even if, let's say, you don't have the best relationship with your family, like you're not close with your family, build that relationship now. Be as close and talk and go to the restaurants and go to places where you can enjoy yourselves. That's one of the best recommendations I have. And also, if not, just relax and kick back and just enjoy the freedom that you have, that you won't have for the next 4, 5, or 6 years. Just enjoy that freedom while you have it, Yeah, he got in trouble because someone's phone went off. Boot camp is really easy. Really, yes. It's fairly easy. You follow what you're told what to do, right? You follow it. So, I mean, I've never gotten in any trouble in boot camp. I have never gotten in any trouble. Let's see. Night of Arrival and Battle Station is the toughest, mainly because you're up 48 hours. How often do you see family while not deployed? Jotun bus. It depends. I'm lucky enough where my ship is in the East Coast, right? I'm in Virginia, and my home state is in Pennsylvania. So every opportunity I get, I'll either rent a car, I'll either take the train, or I'll take the bus, and then I'll go up and see my family real quick and come back down. So personally for me, I see my family at least once every 3 months, but it could be at least once a month. I see them pretty often. So yeah, I'm pretty lucky enough to be able to do that. You know, if my family is in California, like some people are in my ship. You know, obviously, to get to California, you're gonna basically the best mode of travel is by plane to save some time. So you can't, you know, just go home every month or every 3 months, once in every 3 months, just to see your family and just to travel back because it's just not financially stable to do that. KD. Yeah, so chain of command is also good to memorize. The caller devices, right? The petty officer, third class, second class, first class, chief, senior chief, master chief, O1 through, you know, whatever, the admiral, I think it's like O10. That's also good to memorize. Me neither. I stayed out of drama. I'm ready for another challenge. KD, it's not, well, the military, in my opinion, it is challenging. Not because it's like a positive challenge. You know, in the movies and the TV shows, it's such a positive challenge, right? You know, like you are on a mission, which in the big picture, yes, you are, you know, a part of the bigger picture. But the day-to-day operations of being in the Navy and being in the military, the challenge is dealing with a lot of bullcrap, and the challenge is, you know, making sure that you're mentally stable and you're calm and you're collecting yourself where you're not going to blow up. You know, like Brad would probably understand to some degree what I'm talking about. But yeah. Bradley, how long have you been in the Navy so far? Michaela. Michaela, hello. I'm trying to like figure out how to say your last name. Hyakuya. Hyakuya. Michaela Hyakuya. 2 years, 3 years left. Oh, Brad, so like you basically joined the same time that I did. I have June 2nd is my 3rd year mark, and then I'll have 2 years left. So I'm at my 3rd year mark. So what do you think about the Navy SEALs? Very challenging. Something that I could never be. Even though I'm a positive person, as I try to be, you know, I don't think I could deal with that kind of level of stress, and I don't have that kind of level of commitment to be that. So I know a lot of people want to be that, and even so, like for those people who want to be in the special operations program, like a lot of people drop out, and then you know, a lot of people come into my ship as undesignated or a culinary specialist. So I've seen that a lot. It's an anime character. There's not a lot of good animes lately, man. Like I only watch like Hero Academy right now. That's the only thing that I watch. Like I just want freaking Attack on Titans to come back out for the season. You know. But yeah, that's it. You know. Like I'm not into like most of the animes. You know, like I want like death, blood, people actually, main characters actually dying. You know, like one of the anime series I liked for a while in the beginning was Seven Deadly Sins, right? And now they have this new series where it's like Seven Deadly Sins versus like 10 Commandments or whatever. But like no one dies. That's what I don't like about it. No one dies. Watch Drifter. I've seen like the first episode. Someone set the smoke alarm in my PPV. I've had that a couple times in the barracks. PPV in where? In Hampton or what? I go to Hampton sometimes. My friend lives there in front of the Huntington Hall barracks. Hey, show feet. Doom Trigger. Doom Trigger, it's been a while. I haven't talked to you in a while. Look up at the comments. I have questions. Hold on. I just finished high school, so should I join now or do 4 years of culinary school? Michaela. As a CS, right? Bradley, you can chime in on this. I don't know exactly everything that they do, right? But I've seen, right? I've worked with CSs and I'm friends with CSs. I've seen them be able to do some cool things. But when you're in a ship, you're not working with the most ideal products, right? So it's not like you're working with like the gourmet food. Your objective is to mass produce, and you want to mass produce, but at the same time focus on the quality of it, right? To make it somewhat good and edible. So in terms of, okay, let me try to backtrack here. I would say, in my opinion, if you want to be a culinary specialist in the Navy, it would translate well into opening up your own buffet in the civilian world, right? When you think about a buffet, the quality of the food isn't that, great. It's not like a restaurant quality, right? That's what I picture CSs to be. Now, there are some CSs that cook especially for the captain, right? The captains have their own cook, which I guess in some aspects could be a restaurant quality food. At the same time, some CSs go on competitions, right? Go to the White House, cook for the White House, for some of the people in the White House. So I've seen them do that. So I think that's cool. But which is by far no guarantee for you, right? Just because that experience happens for some people doesn't mean it's going to happen to you. With what I know now, Michaela, I would not join the military to be a culinary specialist if in your future opening up a restaurant is the way you want to go. I hope I said that right. If I was unclear, let me know. Almost went in as LS, but I like to cook, so I chose CS. Bradley, I don't know. What's your conclusion so far? LS or CS? Hero Academia. On base, Miller Hall. Oh, I kind of know where that is. I've heard it. Look up at my comments. I heard that Navy Culinary School is different from civilian culinary school. Yes, it is. How many miles do you normally run a day in boot camp? Like it says to run 2.4 kilometers in 10 minutes for the pre-joining test. For what? It's been a while since I joined boot camp, Jotun. If I had to remember, I would say they build you up slowly, right? Over the course of 2 months of boot camp. Like when you work out, they'll make you run for like, I don't know, like 5 minutes and that's it. And maybe in that time you'll run like a tenth of a mile, right? But over time, as you progress, I think you work out like every other day, if I remember correctly. Like one day it'll be about working out and the other day it'll be about, studying and stuff. But it builds up, like you'll run tenth of a mile and then it builds up to a quarter of a mile and then it builds up like half a mile, then a mile, then 2 miles. I think at best it's like 2 miles because all you need to run is 1.5 miles. But even when you run 2 miles, they give you like 20 minutes. I remember that. They called it like shuttle run or something. But yeah, the workout is not too intense. If you have not worked out before, working out here will be intense for you. But working out, if you've already, did track in high school and, did football in high school and whatnot, it should be fairly relatively easy for you, for those individuals. But if you have never worked out before, it's going to be challenging when you're in boot camp. Uh, Beasta boy, can you have gay sex in the army? Asking for a friend. Lol. Why not? If that's how you roll, why not? As long as you're not affecting anybody, you're not bothering anybody, you know, if you aren't behind closed doors, why not? That responsibilities, the responsibilities for a military officer is worth it. Dietrich Thebe. If I had to come back into the Navy, like if I could go back in time, I joined as an officer. Responsibility, like you have more responsibility, like you are responsible for stuff, like you are responsible for being knowledgeable, like you are responsible for people that work for you. But likewise, you get paid accordingly. Like, can you get fired as an officer? Yes. Can you get fired as an enlisted? No. After 20 years, can they force retire you? Yes. But if I had to, man, I'd come back in as an officer. Like, if I could go back in time and I could speak to my younger self, I always say, hey, man, go in as an aviation officer and fly some planes or something. That'd be cool. Yeah, like, instant off, like, beginning, like, they get paid twice as much as what I'm getting paid now. Like, they could just come in, they get paid twice as much. And and in terms of hours, I could work, twice as much hours as they do. But because their work is more more like paperwork difficult and oriented, they'll get paid more. But yeah. CS standalone watches. CS, you either like it or hate it, depends on how high your expectations are. In the galley, you'll work 14-hour days and you'll work 3 days on, 2 days off. Yeah. LOS on my ship don't have to send any watches while on the... That's bullcrap. I send freaking watches on the way, man. I send a watch called low visibility. Whenever there's a rain or fog or you can't see like 5 nautical miles out at sea, like low visibility, and it's the most annoying thing that I have to deal with in my Navy career. The most annoying thing. Like I could be sleeping. Like I worked 15 hours that day, right? I'm out at sea. I worked 15 hours from 7 to like 9 o'clock. And then, I go to sleep, and then, by 12 o'clock, let's say I'm falling asleep, and then at like 02 they'll call low visibility, and guess what? I have to go up there and muster up and stand watch because I'm low visibility detail, even though there's like freaking 500 other people in supply. I have to go up there. They only select a few people. I don't understand why they don't select everybody, but it is how the game is played, I guess. Michaela, what's the best job in the Navy? I've covered this a little bit earlier, and the response that I gave was it depends on your definition of best. Right? My definition of best is sitting behind the computer, relaxed, only doing paperwork, and doing something in an air-conditioned space where I can relax and kind of ride out my Navy career. That's what's best for me. What's best for you, I don't know, right? It depends on what you want to do in your future, right? For example, if you want to open up a restaurant, right? I don't know, maybe in some ways being a CS might be cool. I don't recommend it. But maybe mass communication specialist, because when you open up a business, right? You open up a business, and MCs, right? Mass communication specialist in the ship takes pictures, right? Creates blog posts, creates stories. So you could translate that in when you open up your business. You could have a social media page for your business and you can market it well, right? So there's that kind of benefits, that kind of angles there. So it really depends on what you define it to be, right? Let's say you want to open up a restaurant in a different country, right? If you join the Navy and be a CTI, right, be able to speak Chinese, like they teach you to speak Chinese or Russian or German, whatever you want to do, right? You're bilingual at this point. Now you can open up a restaurant in a, foreigner heavy area and, kill it that way. So it all depends on what you want to do and how you define best for you. Yeah. What's up, you? Just curious, do you play any games? PS4, Xbox, pass my ASVAB for the Navy. Just waiting to go to MEPS now for physical. Vincent, if I do play games, I play League of Legends. I don't play any console games. I play League of Legends. Michaela, I hope that answered your question. How and when do you guys have fun? Sugar ants, the only time you can really have fun is while you're working with the people around you, right? So sometimes people don't like the people they work with, and they'll have a miserable time. But fortunate for me, I like the people that I work with, so I have fun along the way. But there isn't really designated time for you to have fun, right? Sometimes when you're out at sea, the fun boss or the fit boss, the civilian contractors come on board. They'll set up some type of events, like flight deck 5K run. If you haven't seen that video, it's a 5K run on the flight deck where the planes land and stuff. There's like tricycle races or like bingo nights. So there are some events here and there, but nothing too crazy. So there isn't really fun that you can have. Download as much videos and games as you can and play it while you're out at sea when you have some free time. If you're an introverted person like I am, right? There's a lot of extroverted people that all they want to do is play card games and talk. So, what's up? Oh, okay. I'm about to go to boot camp soon after they clear Doom Trigger. I know you've been with me for Doom Trigger. I feel like you've been with me since like almost the beginning. Almost. I feel like within my first year, this time management is the key. Right now, my chain of command isn't the best, and I'm taking on more responsibility because we're short-staffed, but I enjoy it. Yeah. Just gotta have the positive mental attitude. That's the strongest thing. Like, it's the biggest thing. Ensign makes as much as chief. Yep. Do you do meet and greets? Shane Brown, no. Maybe once I get like 1 million subscribers, I'll have one. And once I can like stick to a genre, like, because I'm not gonna stick with Navy forever. After I get out of the Navy, I don't want to do anything with it. So yeah, in the future, yes, once I get 1 million subscribers and do all that, I'll have a meet and greet. But for now, the biggest meet and greet is you just walk by and you recognize me, you can say hi. Like 30 minutes ago, somebody walked ago, another guy did that. So just take pride in your work and you'll be fine. I'm joining the Army, but do you think the Navy is better? Depends on what you want to do. I don't have an opinion about the Army because I've never been in the Army, so I can't share with you exactly what my opinions are. But I would say, from what I know, it all depends on what you want to do after the Navy or after the military career, depending on what branch you join. Right? So if you are very much into, I don't know, like shooting or like working with like heavy like mechanical equipments like tanks and all that kind of, well, even then the Navy in the ships are like that. But for example, let's say you are very interested in working with tanks. I would say, think about the Army. If you are very interested in understanding the inner works of of a Navy ship, then a ship, maybe the Navy is the way to go. For example, I had this thought the other day. After the Navy, I'm interested in doing the van life for a while, right? Living in a van, traveling across country and all that kind of stuff. But there's also people who sail, doing a sail like understanding. And I was thinking, all right, maybe if I was to do that, I wouldn't mind being a QM, right? Understanding the navigation and the weather, understanding the stars and stuff like that. That's what QMs are, from what I understand, trained to do. So it depends on what you want to do outside after the military that, you should be thinking of which branch which branch to join, and within that branch, which job you should take. Because every branch is not equal and every job is not equal. The Navy is better beast. Beast boy. Every branch will be different. I'm on low vis watch and main attack team in 3. That's how it is, man. Are there trannies in the military, and does it make me gay to have? Boy, if that's how you roll, that's how you roll. Best for me is staying out of the office. I love moving around. It depends what you like. Yeah. Like, I prefer to stay inside the office, Some people stay outside the office. Do you ever interact with members of other branches? Yeah, like Marines, like when they have their aircraft, like they'll be on my aircraft, and then I interact with the Marines, like the Air Force, like we have Air Force people, airplanes come on board. Did he? I didn't even notice. Yeah, so I've interacted with Marines, Air Force, seen some Coast Guard here and there, but that's about it. I guess that's all the branches, right? Navy jobs that really suck, Donnie. It depends, There is no silver bullet here. It's just basically the opposite of what your interests are. Like, if you want to be in my opinion, I would not want to be a culinary specialist. Like, I think if I was a culinary specialist, I would absolutely hate it. Because I just don't like to deal with people, right? Even though, like, I deal with people here, but I don't like to deal with the stress of that environment that they're in. So yeah, I think cooking food and stuff. Like, it would be, but in the other aspect, like, what's up, man? In other aspects, like if I chose to be in the nukes, right, in the nuclear program, work in the reactor plant, and they work some crazy hours, and they have to know a lot of stuff. Like, that's not me. Even though they get paid that well, like, that doesn't align with my values. There's nothing in my future that I want to do anything with nuclear stuff. It just isn't. Right? So I'd be miserable in it. But some people who want to be in that nuclear field, join the Navy. Like, there's a guy I know. He's out of the Navy now. He did it 6 years, right? Got out of the Navy as a second class. And, he's working. No, he got out as a first class. I met him as a second class, but got out as a first class. He's a super smart dude. Went to nuke, did his time, got out of the Navy, and now he's working for a nuclear company, and he's getting paid like $80,000 a year, right? So that's his interest, right? For me, it's far from what I want. So yeah, it all depends on what you want, man. How do you handle the need to have a long time, or do you have to suck it up? Joan, I mean, I just, I enjoy my personal time. I mean, yeah, I have to deal with people, but, as long as they're not bothering the crap out of me, I don't mind. I still have to give good customer service. But yeah, for the most part, I prefer to be alone. That's just how I am. Donnie, how are you feeling today? How's the food so far? The food, I'm feeling all right. 2 more years left in the Navy, so I'm kind of excited for that. Can't wait to get out. But yeah, Sailors get treated better than soldiers. Soldiers end up in the desert somewhere. I mean, I think living conditions wise, sailors have it pretty good compared to like people in the army. You know, it's in my opinion, living in Iraq is better than living in a tent with like 10 other guys or like 50 other people. I don't know exactly how the living situation is there, but from the movies, right, the living situation seems pretty bad. So yeah. That guy looked back at you. I'll see you around, man. Hopefully, I get to see you in Q80 sometimes. Yeah, man. I'm here pretty often. Is it true sailors are virgins? No. I would say, on the contrary, there's a lot of sailors that mingle together. Not like same sex, but like males and females. Thanks for all the vids, Yoon. You got it, Fire Phoenix. IT is the way to go. I love it in CVN 73. Well, Aaron, honestly, Aaron, if you can find an LS3 that want to cross deck to my ship, CVN 72, that's going to California, let me know. Let me know. I want to go back to freaking the shipyards. You know, relaxing times, you know. Where are you and what time is it? I'm here in Ireland, Irwin Gaming, and it's 12:30 a.m. I am in Virginia, east coast of the United States. I am in Virginia, and it is 1934 for you military types. Do you take vacations? Yes. Every year I take a pretty good vacation. Aaron, man, I'm telling you, if you have an LS3 friend, single, right, because we have to have identical resumes, if you can find one that wants to come to my ship's going to California, it would do me a solid. So when I first joined the Navy, my first vacation was I went to Korea. I went to Korea for like 29 days. Did that my second year in the Navy. I went to Disney World last year, August, with my girlfriend. And then my third year in the Navy, you know, this coming June, I am going to Brazil to see my girlfriend. Thanks, Aaron. What would you say will be too old to join any branch? 50, 40, 40, 50? Like, you can't even join at your late 30s in the Navy and you'll be fine. I mean, I wouldn't even say there's anything too old. Because even if you join at an older age, like late 30s, right, I think everybody has their time to join, right? Even though a part of me wish I joined after high school at 19, like I joined at 21 and, you know, going into the military as 22, I joined at the right time for me, right? Everybody has their right time in life to join the Navy. Right? Everybody has that time. There is no like too late or too early. You know, whenever you join is the right time, in my opinion, because you have that much experience coming into the military and you can incorporate that throughout your military career. That's my opinion. Can you do a whole month at a time? Yes. Or do you have to do 2 weeks at a time? As long as they allow it, you can do whatever you want. You know, they can deny it. They could say, no, you can't do it. And, you know, there's not much you can do about that. For example, right, when I was taking leave for 29 days, if I was to do it for 29 days consecutively, when you do it over past 29 days, you lose what's called a sea time. So I'm on my ship, right? It's a sea command. It's a sea duty. But if I went past 29 days, I would lose the consecutive sea time. So if I do 3 years on the ship, I get, you know, very high premium sea pay. But if I took over 29 days, I would restart my C time. So which basically means less money for me in the future. But at the end of the day, Beast Boy, you can put in as much days as you want as long as you have them. It all depends on if they will allow it. That's the biggest thing. If they don't allow it, they can't let you do it. But if you do it and they allow it, then by all means. Do you know anything about CMS ID, details, and orders? No. I mean, Dennis, I tried. Like when I was in A school, I talked to my A school instructor, and my A school instructor talked to a detailer because I wanted to be an LS for the White House or the Pentagon because obviously that'd be cooler. And they called the detailer, and the detailer said no. So that's the detailers kind of have an ultimate saying on where you go. So how is long distance relationship in the military? My girlfriend is staying in Florida and I'm going into the Army. Beast Boy, as long as you have the patience and your girlfriend has the patience and you are trusting in each other, it'll work perfectly fine. There's a lot of people that I know that they're very tempted with flesh and lust, and their relationship doesn't last. But my relationship with my girlfriend, it's been a year and a half. She lives in Brazil, and I don't see her that often, but we talk almost on a daily basis. So we make it work. Thoughts on Navy submarines? I wouldn't want to do it, honestly. It'd be cool to do it for 2 years, but for the 5-6 years, I can't do it. I can't do Navy subs, man. Too confined, too much going on, a lot of work. Can you talk a bit about OCS, Officer Candidate School? I'm transferring from community college to a 4-year university this fall. What is your advice? Noah, there's not a lot of things that I know. Like, I don't know the certain details of it. But from what I know, right, there's a few things that I know. One, you want to get a degree that aligns with what you want to do, right? For example, like if you are going to be I was looking at this the other day too. Like if you want to be a Navy, right? Navigation, like the navigation officer, like when the ship's out at sea, you navigate the weather, the stars, and all that kind of stuff, using the equipment, right? Getting a degree that's related to that field and navigation, like weather and all that kind of stuff, would be beneficial for you, and it would make you competitive, right? Because you can apply to be an officer with any degree, right? You can go in and try to be an aviation officer with an English degree, right? You can be a navigation officer with an English degree, but it would not make you as competitive because it's such a competitive field, because your resume is put up against each other as somebody who would, let's say, have a navigation degree and then trying to be a navigation officer compared to somebody who has a degree in fixing cars and trying to be a navigation officer. So what happens if an O1 smokes an E6? I mean, O1 technically has an authority over a E9. As long as, you're in the right, you can do whatever you want. Like if an E9 is in the right, even if an E1 can smoke an O1, right? And I've seen that. Like E1 knows much more about, like, for example, maintenance, like fixing a item, fixing some type of mechanical part, than an O1. An O1 might just come in and like fresh out of OCS and say like, oh, we have to follow this, and this. But an E1 might understand exactly what to do and say like, sir, just let us do our thing. You don't have to micromanage us. But then again, the O1's just trying to do his job. But it can go in many different areas. But all right, guys, I'm about to close it out here pretty soon. If you have any final questions, let me know now. I'm probably gonna close it out and just relax for a bit, and then talk to my girlfriend that I have been ignoring for a while. Sugar ants, you got it. But know what, man? It my best if I could go back in time, right? Join as an officer, not as enlisted. It'd be tempting, and the recruiters are probably going to try to convince you otherwise. Say like, oh, you could be an officer when you after you join as enlisted. Don't do it. If you want to be an officer, come into the military and just join as an officer, not as enlisted. All right, just they're going to try to trick you. They're going to try to get you that way, but just letting you know now. Can I join the U.S. Navy if I'm Irish? As long as you have the green card? No, green card is not enough. Maybe I think green card is enough actually. You could. I guess it would depend on the branch. That also plays a factor, but you could. But all right, guys, I'm about to close out here in 30 seconds. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for watching. Thank you for hope I answered the questions to the best of my abilities and it transferred and you guys understood it clearly. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great Navy day. Later, Fred.